morning, students. In today's class, we shall take up the concepts like economic agents, macroeconomic decision makers, and we shall also look into emergence of macroeconomics and the working of a capitalist economy. For the first, we shall understand who are economic agents. Economic agents are those individuals and institutions which take economic decision. They can be consumers who decides on what and how much to consume, what and how much to purchase, and they may be producers as well who decide what and how much to produce. They can be some entities like government, corporation or banks which take different decisions like how much to spend or what is the interest rate that are to be charged on the credit given, how much to tax. All these decisions which are taken by the individuals and institutions are referred as economic agents. We refer these individuals and institutions who takes different decisions are called economic agents. Now we shall understand macroeconomic decision makers. You know very well, macroeconomic analysis will try to give solutions to very big economic problems, economic issues such as poverty, unemployment, illiteracy, population explosion, etc. So macroeconomic policies are the solutions to these economic issues like poverty, unemployment, illiteracy, population, etc., which are pursued by the government or the state itself or by some statutory authorities or statutory bodies, like we can take the example of RBI, Reserve Bank of India, which is the central bank of our country, and SEBI, Security and Exchange Board of India, and very many other central authorities are there. And in addition, there are similar other institutions which may actually go for macroeconomic policies and its formulation. Why we are taking these macroeconomic decision makers? Because each of these entity will have one or the other public goals to pursue as per the law and constitution of the country. The goals of these macroeconomic decision makers are different from that of individual economic agents. What is the goal of individual economic agents then? The goal of individual economic agent is to achieve maximum profit or private profit maximization or personal welfare maximization. The motto of a private enterprise is always to make a maximum profit, how to maximize my profit. So this is not the goal of the macroeconomic decision makers. The goal of macroeconomic decision makers are different from that of individual economic agents. So this is the difference that you need to know. Welfare, the achievement of welfare of the whole community or the whole society as per the law and constitution are taken as macroeconomic decision makers and their goals. So this is the difference that you need to know between individual economic agents and macroeconomic decision makers. Macroeconomics as a separate branch of knowledge emerged only after the British economist John Maynard Keynes published his celebrated book in the year 1936 entitled with The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money. The dominant thinking before the emergence of macroeconomics that was existed in the whole world was the classical school of thought that is headed by Adam Smith and his follower. You know very well, Adam Smith, who is regarded as the father of economics, and his followers gave the idea to the whole world by saying that there is full employment in the economy and there is always maximum output produced in the economy. There should not be the interference of the government in the working of the economy. Everything should be left to the demand and supply, which are the two important market forces. And Adam Smith also has given his eminent work entitled with An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nation, which could be your 1 mark question. Student, you can expect a question question for 1 marks. What is the book of Adam Smith? The title of the book written by Adam Smith is An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nation. Adam Smith and his follower belongs to a school of thought called as Classical School of Thought, and this school of thought was associated with all these economists who gave their ideas by saying that in an economy all those laborers who are ready to work will find employment. There is no problem of unemployment, and all the factories will be working at their full capacity and no stock is left over. Whatever is been produced in the economy, everything will be sold in the market. There is no stock, there should not be any interference by the government. These are the ideas of Classical School of Thought, which could be your another 1 marks question. However, the Classical School of Thought was existence before the emergence of macroeconomics. Everything was okay till 1929, but in the year 1929, the economy, the whole world saw a downturn in the history of industrialized world, which is an economic crisis called the Great Depression, which was occurred in 1929. The Great Depression of 1929 and the subsequent year saw the output and employment level fell by a huge amount in the countries of Europe and North America. It also affected other countries of the world. The idea of Classical School of Economists, that is, there is full employment in the economy, all the laborers will get employment opportunity and all the factories will be working at their full capacity, actually did not work out during this period. Why? Because the demand for the goods and services have come down, was very low, because of which there was low investment and all the factories were lying idle. There was no production activity taking place, because of which there was a problem of unemployment. Many laborers were thrown out of the job. There was a severe unemployment problem, and again that led to a low income level. When people don't have employment, obviously they don't have income. When they don't have income, they cannot spend on purchase of goods and services, and that led to a low level of demand. And in this way, you can see a complete downturn in the economy or in the economies of the world can be witnessed, and no countries were out of this problem. Almost all countries had to face this severe economic crisis, where the Classical School of Thought was a failure in giving solution to such problem. In this regard, all the economists have started thinking in a new way how to find solution to this problem, and J.M. Keynes' work, General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money, was working in this direction. Unlike his predecessor, his approach was different. His approach of studying the working of the economy was different, because he studied the working of the economy in its entirety, and also he studied that there is an interlinkage between different sectors of the economy, and the working of the economy is to be studied in its entirety and interlinked between different sectors of the economy. In this way, Adam Smith and his followers, who belong to Classical School of Thought, and their idea was a failure to give any solution to the problem of Great Depression, since J.M. Keynes could able to come out of this problem by giving his new idea of aggregate approach, has made the emergence of macroeconomics. In this way, macroeconomics took its birth. Let us now examine the working of capitalist economy, which is important from long answer point of view. The first thing that you have to mention here is that in a capitalist economy, production activity, the first point that you have to notice is that in a capitalist economy, production activities are carried out by capitalist enterprise. You can also call it as private capitalist enterprises. A typical capitalist enterprise will have one or several entrepreneurs. Who is an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is a person who exercise major control over decision and who take a large part of risk associated with the enterprises. And here, an entrepreneur may himself supply the capital needed to run the enterprises, or he may borrow the capital from others and invest on production. So the first factor which is required for the production process, that is capital, will be supplied by the entrepreneur himself, or he may borrow from others and he may put it in the production. The second point is that to carry out production, the most important element that is needed is natural resources. It may be in the form of raw materials or land. That's why we say that a part of natural resources is being consumed in the form of raw material, a part is fixed, and that is plots of land. The third point is that they need the most important element of human labor to take up the production process. Without laborers, the production of goods and services is not at all possible. Therefore, another important factor which is required in the production process is labor. We shall call this as labor. So we have understood that most importantly, the three important factors have been mentioned in these 3 points. One is capital, the other one is land and or natural resources also you can say, and the third one is labor. And we shall also look into how these 3 factors are utilized by the entrepreneur and goods are produced in the next point. After producing the output by making use of these 3 factors such as capital, land and labor, the entrepreneur will sell the product in the market. The money that is earned itself is called as revenue. Whatever the 3 factors that are there will be utilized in the production process, and the products that are produced will be marketed, and the money that is being received by the entrepreneur itself is called revenue. It is not the profit, student. There is a difference between revenue and profit. The whole sum of money that is being generated by selling the products produced by an entrepreneur or a firm itself is called revenue. And in the next stage you have to learn that the revenue that is being obtained will be distributed among the 4 factors. How? One part of revenue will be paid out as rent to the land, that is whatever the service rendered by the land, for that a reward is being paid called as rent, and another part of revenue will be paid to capital as interest, and one more part goes to labor as wages, and the leftover money itself is called as profit. And at the end, after distributing rent, wages and interest to the 3 factors, the remaining money that is being available for the entrepreneur is called as profit. The profit that is being obtained by the entrepreneur is being utilized in the production process for the expansion of production process. Maybe he may buy new machineries, or he may build new factories, which leads to the expansion of the productive activity. And you must say that whatever the productive capacity that is being raised by investing the profit generated out of a production, it indicates investment expenditure. The investment made by the entrepreneur out of the profit which is being generated by the production activity or productive activity itself is called as investment expenditure. So in detail we have got to know that the working of a capitalist economy is very simple. Here all major decisions are taken by private capitalist enterprises. By using the 4 factors, the goods are produced and marketed, the revenue generated out of the production or output, that will be distributed among the 4 factors, and the profit which is a part of revenue that is being paid to entrepreneur is further utilized for the expansion of production activity. So we have come to know that there are 4 factors of production which are very much needed for the production of goods and services. Those are land, labor, capital and organization. The reward paid to these 4 factors are rent, wages, interest and profit respectively. So the working of capitalist economy is simple to analyze and also to explain. I believe you all have learned the working of a simple economy. Now let us understand the characteristic of the capitalist economy, where you have to give 4 points to get 2 marks. We shall have that understanding with the help of these points. Some important characteristics that a capitalist economy must have includes: there is private ownership of the means of production. Here, there is no interference of the government. There is private ownership of the means of production. The second one is production takes place for selling the products or output in the market. Production is mainly done in order to sell the product in the market. Here, the production takes place for selling the output in the market. The main purpose of producing goods and services is to sell it in the market and maximizing the profit. Next, there is sale and purchase of labor service. There is sale and purchase of labor service at a price which is called as wage rate. Labor services are not rendered free of cost, that will be sold in the market, and the sale and purchase of labor services happens at a price, and that is called as wage rate. And finally, all important decisions are taken by the entrepreneur in the market, or you can directly say that all the major economic decisions are taken by the market, where entrepreneur or private capital entrepreneur plays a major role. Thank you.